What's up, everybody? It's the Alex Leak and Friends NFL podcast, back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak, and this is my final mock draft for the 2023 NFL Draft. I've done a ton of research, done a ton of mock drafts, talked with former players, current analysts, and this is my final mock. This is what I think. This is a mixture of what I think will happen and what I want to happen. A little bit of both, and you'll see. I mean, I've got explanations and analysis for each pick on why I think it should happen. So this should be a lot of fun getting into this and breaking it down. So the start is easy. The first pick is the easiest. That's Bryce Young to the Carolina Panthers. Now, for me, I don't know. I would consider taking C.J. Stroud here. I'm very high on C.J. Stroud. He's my quarterback number one. Bryce Young, he's a little too small for me. I have concerns about that. He has superstar ability. I'm not going to lie. He's got the ability to be a star in this league. He's got the accuracy, he can place the ball wherever he wants. He's got the tools. He's athletic. He's got the tools to be a star. But at only 5'10", 195, some people are concerned about his size and ability to stay healthy long term. And one of the things that comes to mind is just last year when we see Tua dealing with the concussion issues and, getting kind of ragdolled and thrown around by these massive pass rushers. And Tua's bigger than Bryce Young. Tua is, I'm pulling it up right now, but Tua is 6 foot 215. And Bryce Young, on the other hand, is 5'10", 195. Maybe you can get to 200, but still, the size is a concern. But the Panthers can't afford to miss on this pick. They can't really take any risk. They need a home run pick. Their owner, David Tepper, is, going to be livid if they don't take the quarterback that he wants and the quarterback that gives them the best chance to win. I mean, you look at who they've had recently, Teddy Bridgewater. Who did they even have last year? Sam Darnold, guys like that just, aren't it. And now you got Andy Dalton, who, is the veteran backup. I'm sure the Panthers would like to maybe play Dalton a couple weeks into the season, and unless Bryce Young can steal the starting spot week one, but, from Andy. But at the end of the day, this is the easy pick. This is who the Panthers are taking. Bryce Young out of Alabama. He's a winner. He's got the tools. The only issue really is size and ability to stay healthy. So we'll see. But that's the no-brainer. It's a consensus pick. Everyone says Panthers are taking Bryce Young. So the draft really starts at pick number 2, and that is the Texans, the Houston Texans, and what are they going to do here? To me, I don't think they can afford to not take C.J. Stroud here. He's my quarterback number 1 because he checks all the boxes. He's got the size. I'm not concerned about him because he's 6'3", 215, built like an NFL quarterback. He's got a solid arm strength, and he's got incredible accuracy. And in my mind, one of the big things that people are concerned about is his athleticism. And I think he has underrated athleticism. Every time I think of C.J. Stroud, it goes back to that game against Georgia in the college football playoff. And C.J. Stroud did everything to beat Georgia. He played a great game in the biggest game of his career, and had Ohio State in position to win that game. If they had a kicker who could make that kick, they're going to the championship. And the kicker missed it, but C.J. Stroud did everything in his power to get his team in position. He took over with like 45 seconds and moved the team down the field and into field goal range. What else can you ask for? You know, and so that's why I'm high on C.J. Stroud. You know, he tested. There's reports that he tested really bad at the S2 cognitive test. That doesn't look. Trust your eyes. Trust the film. There's a lot of off the field stuff that people want to take into consideration here with C.J. Stroud. For me, I go off of what happens on the field, and you know, that's why I love Deshaun Watson coming out of Clemson, because of what he did at Clemson on the field against Bama in 2 national championship games. And to me, it really resonates how well you perform in the biggest game when all eyes are on you and the pressure's at its highest. How do you perform? And I thought C.J. Stroud performed very well against Georgia and had him in position to pulling off one of the biggest upsets of the season if Ohio State gets that done. No one gave Ohio State a chance against Georgia. By far the best team in college football, and by far the best defense in college football, and the closest thing that C.J. Stroud ever saw to an NFL defense. And so if C.J. can have success against the Georgia defense, then why can't he come in and have success right away in the NFL? So the Houston Texans need a quarterback. There's a lot of talk about they don't like C.J. Stroud, and they might take Will Levis here. They might take Anthony Richardson here. They might take a defensive player here. They might go Will Anderson Jr. or Tyree Wilson. Or they might, and then there's talk about them possibly taking Anthony Richardson at pick 12 or Hendon Hooker at pick 12. So the Texans are the true wild card. No one really knows what they're going to do. They're the complete opposite of Carolina, where everyone knows the Panthers are taking Bryce Young. The Texans, no one knows what they're going to do. What I would do, I would take C.J. Stroud at pick 2. He's my quarterback number 1, and he checks all the boxes for me. I could give a shit about low test scores. I go by what I saw on the field and what he did against Georgia in the playoffs. So that's what I would do if I'm the Texans. C.J. Stroud is my number 2 pick. And that is going to affect the number 12 pick as well. There's a little teaser for you. So pick 3, the Arizona Cardinals. They've got a lot of needs. Daniel Jeremiah said on a conference call that they have the worst roster in football. Damn near. You know, they need to completely rebuild. You know, they got a brand new head coach in Jonathan Gannon, the former Eagles defensive coordinator. J.J. Watt retires. DeAndre Hopkins wants to be traded. That's likely going to happen. Budda Baker wants to be traded. We'll see if that happens. But the Cardinals have a lot of needs. Pretty much all they have is Kyler Murray. You know, and so at pick 3, I go best defensive player. And you can go either Jalen Carter here or Will Anderson Jr. I think the Cardinals will go Will Anderson Jr. There's some off-the-field character concerns, different issues with Jalen Carter that I think the Cardinals won't go in that direction. And I think it's very close between Carter and Will Anderson on who's the best defensive prospect. Cardinals, I believe, will go Will Anderson Jr. He's a 6'4", 250-pound sack machine. Back-to-back Bronco Nagurski Award winner for the best defensive player in college football. So 2 years in a row he won that. Cardinals desperately need pass rush help. And they need a franchise defensive leader who, you know, Will Anderson can step in and be. And he's he's got no character concerns. So I think that is a deciding factor between him and Jalen Carter. So that's my pick. So it goes Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Anderson is the first defensive player off the board to the Arizona Cardinals at pick 3. Pick 4 is very interesting. The Indianapolis Colts. They're very likely going to go quarterback here. Do they trade up potentially to 2? Also with the Cardinals, there's potential trade back. Maybe the Cardinals just trade back there. I wouldn't. I would stay put and take the best defensive player on my board if I'm the Cardinals. Some are saying the Cardinals might even take Paris Johnson Jr. at pick 3. I wouldn't. I would, I think that's a reach. I would, if you're going to take an offensive lineman, trade back, and then you can get Peter Skoronski, PJJ, Paris Johnson Jr., Broderick Jones, Darnell Wright, one of those guys. But I go Will Anderson Jr. here. I stay put. For the Colts, they could trade up potentially with the Texans or the Cardinals. I don't think they will. I think they stay at 4. And then they take the best quarterback available. If Stroud and Bryce Young are off the board, I think they pick either Will Levis or Anthony Richardson. If Stroud is still available, I gotta take C.J. Stroud here. You can't pass up on C.J. Stroud if you're the Colts, if he's available at 4. I don't think he will be, but who knows with what the Texans and Cardinals do. So if C.J. Stroud is available, I take him. It's a no-brainer if I'm the Colts. If he's not, if it's a decision between Will Levis and Anthony Richardson, I think the Colts are going to go Will Levis. Like, that's what all the reports have been. People are saying that the Colts like Will Levis here. I would not. I would go Anthony Richardson. That's who my pick here is at 4. I would go Anthony Richardson. He provides the highest upside. Incredible athlete. Incredible arm strength. The dude is a baller. And if you bring him in and develop him, he could end up being the best quarterback in this class. Upside-wise, potential-wise. His ceiling is the roof, as Michael Jordan would say. So, I would go Anthony Richardson here if C.J. Stroud is not available. If C.J. Stroud is available, I'm going C.J. Stroud all day. So we'll see what the Colts do. It's got to be quarterback. One thing to consider about Will Levis is that Indy needs to win now, and they need a pro-ready quarterback, and Will Levis is pro-ready. But I just said earlier, C.J. Stroud, in my opinion, is pro-ready. So if C.J. Stroud's available, go him. I don't think he will be, so I'm going Anthony Richardson. I have my questions about Will Levis, and really one of the biggest questions on Will Levis is why couldn't he beat out Sean Clifford at Penn State? That's the big question, right? And, is he just an average quarterback? Is he this year's Mitch Trubisky, right? You can win with these type of quarterbacks, but man, imagine the possibilities with Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor on that threatening the edge, and that'll open up holes in the middle, and so I just think Anthony Richardson, his upside makes me want to take him high, makes me want to take him 4. We'll see. Maybe the Colts go Will Levis. I will never agree with it if they go Will Levis. I'll never like the pick. It's not a sexy pick, and I don't think I don't see Will Levis being a successful franchise quarterback in the NFL. I don't. So maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before, but I would take Anthony Richardson. At pick 5, the Seattle Seahawks. They're likely to go defense. Pete Carroll wants to go defense, and there's a couple different ways you can go here. And I think Jalen Carter will be available here. And Pete Carroll is willing to take the risk. He's proven it time and time again before. He doesn't care. He'll take the best player, with character concerns, and believe that his locker room, his culture, can get the best out of the player. And because of that reason, I think the Seahawks take Jalen Carter, fit at 5th overall here out of Georgia to the Seattle Seahawks. A lot of talk about Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech to go here. But I think the Seahawks go Jalen Carter. It's hard for me to see Jalen Carter falling too far. His talent is just too immense. In my opinion, Jalen Carter reminds me of Aaron Donald. That's my NFL comp for him. So, if that's the case, he should be number 1 overall, right? If Aaron Donald's in this draft, you have to take him. I think that's who Jalen Carter is. So, if the Seahawks get him at 5, it's a steal. And I trust Pete Carroll to develop him and get the most out of him. And, sometimes these character concerns are a lot of concern about nothing. And the player gets his head on straight once he gets to the NFL and balls out. And so hopefully that's what Jalen Carter does for Seattle at pick 5. Let's go to pick 6, the Detroit Lions, an interesting spot here. Again, man, I keep wanting the Lions to take a quarterback. Imagine if the Lions go Anthony Richardson. I mocked them to take Justin Fields 2 years ago. There was talk about Malik Willis last year. If you're the Lions, you're going to need to get your quarterback at some point, and I don't see them going, having the worst record in football and getting Caleb Williams next year, right? So if they want Caleb Williams, they'll have to trade up and give up a ton to go get him. And there's going to be a lot of other teams that are willing to trade up and give up a ton to go get him. And who's to say the team with the number 1 overall pick is even going to want to make a trade, even with the best offers available? Caleb Williams is getting comparisons to Patrick Mahomes. So he's going to be likely the number 1 overall pick and, highly sought after. So the Lions are going to need to take a quarterback at some point, whether that's a draft pick or trade for someone like Lamar Jackson. But Jared Goff isn't going to be consistently good enough to get this team where they want to go. Lions fans are going to have playoff expectations next year, and I do not trust Jared Goff to put up back-to-back seasons. The way he performed last year was incredible. I don't expect him to do it again. He hasn't proven to be consistently good enough to be a franchise quarterback in the NFL. That's why he didn't work out with the Rams and Sean McVay, because he wasn't consistently good enough. And at the end there, Sean McVay was saying he would rather start John Wolford over Jared Goff. So it's like Goff had lost all confidence and wasn't studying and preparing the way he should. And he bounced back last year, had a great year in Detroit. But now with the Jameson Williams suspension and just with Goff's, lack of consistency, I don't think the Lions have the type of year everyone hopes they do. And I think they missed the playoffs. And they need to make a quarterback upgrade. And you get a rookie in there with some hype, or you go make a trade for a Lamar Jackson if you're the Lions, suddenly expectations go sky high. Now all of a sudden, you're a favorite to win the division and host a playoff game and go on a deep playoff run potentially. That's what Lions fans want. And so it's very important how Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes and the Lions and Chris Spielman and the Lions figure out their future here and go from Jared Goff to their franchise quarterback, their future. Goff's not going to be that guy. And with the Ohio State ties with Chris Spielman is C.J. Stroud. If C.J. Stroud falls, is C.J. Stroud an option here for Detroit? We'll see. But I have them going corner Devin Witherspoon out of Illinois. College teammates with Kirby Joseph. Lions fans love Kirby Joseph. Both these guys are hard-hitting defensive backs. Kirby the safety, Devin Witherspoon the corner. It would be a corner upgrade. Jeff Okudah didn't work out in Detroit. So you get Devin Witherspoon in there to upgrade that position and continue to build the defense. My one concern here as a Bears fan, don't let Jalen Carter fall to the Lions at 6. If Jalen Carter is there and the Lions take him at pick 6, I'm going to be upset. Because the Lions do not need both Aiden Hutchinson and Jalen Carter on that line. I mean, goddamn. I do not want to see that. That is not something I want to see. So don't let Jalen Carter fall to 6. NFL, Seahawks, Cardinals, any of you guys, don't let Jalen Carter fall to 6, please. So Devin Witherspoon, hell of a corner. I got him going 6 to the Lions. Pick 7, the Las Vegas Raiders. They traded away, they released Derek Carr So he's no longer their franchise quarterback. They signed Jimmy Garoppolo. He's not the long-term answer. They need a quarterback. And so I got them taking Will Levis out of Kentucky at pick 7. If he's gone already, then I got them taking Anthony Richardson. If CJ Stroud's available, I got them taking CJ Stroud. This is why I can't see CJ Stroud falling that far, if he does. But if Anthony Richardson goes to the Colts and it's Will Levis or Anthony Richardson, that's who the Raiders are taking here at quarterback. They need a quarterback. They can't keep going with Jimmy G, and they don't really have a backup behind him. Who's their backup? Like Brian Hoyer, I think. And so, you can't do that if you're the Raiders. You got to go quarterback, in my opinion, and start building towards the future. So that's what I got them going there. Falcons at pick 8. Edge Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech. I'll be surprised if Tyree Wilson falls all the way to 8. He is very high in all the NFL circles. Anyone connected to the NFL, connected to these GMs, everyone loves Tyree Wilson. So he might go ahead of a Will Anderson Jr., Jalen Carter. He might go ahead. He's got a ton of hype. I got him behind both of them as the third best defensive player available. And I got him going number 8 to the Atlanta Falcons. Now I had former Falcons All-Pro defensive end John Abraham, one of my favorite Falcons players of all time, on the podcast earlier this week. And we talked about the Falcons draft, and he really wants the Falcons to take edge Nolan Smith out of Georgia. That's his guy, his favorite player for the Falcons, best fit, from Georgia, so the Falcon fans would love him. And his comparison of Nolan Smith is a young Von Miller. So very high praise from John Abraham on Nolan Smith, who I like a lot as well, and could be a guy for the Falcons to take here. But I think if Tyree Wilson is available, I think they'll go him. And who knows, maybe Jalen Carter or Will Anderson Jr. falls to the Falcons at 8, and maybe they take him. But John Abraham wants the Falcons to take Nolan Smith. I have them taking Tyree Wilson at pick 8. Pick 9 for the Chicago Bears. The no-brainer here is to go tackle. It's an obvious, glaring need. Justin Fields is running for his life behind that offensive line in Chicago. They need to upgrade that. They need to take a tackle. So whether it's Paris Johnson Jr. or Peter Skoronski or Broderick Jones or Darnell Wright, right? Those have got to be the pick. Something to keep an eye on, though. Look, we lost David Montgomery, replaced him with Dante Foreman, who I'm not super high on. He's a running back 2, in my opinion, as is Khalil Herbert. I want a running back 1. Man, I would be ecstatic. I know we need to address the offensive line, but I would be ecstatic if the Bears would just pull the trigger here and take running back Bijan Robinson out of Texas. Man, I would love to see that. I believe Bijan Robinson is going to go top 10 in this draft. His NFL comparison is Saquon Barkley coming out of Penn State. Bijan Robinson has no flaws. He can make you miss. He can run you over. He can pass block. He can pass catch. He has no weaknesses. He is an absolute baller at the running back position and deserves to go top 10 overall in this draft. So, if the Bears go tackle, I understand. I would go Paris Johnson Jr. out of Ohio State at pick 9. I can also understand wanting Peter Skoronski. Those are the 2 best, in my opinion. Paris Johnson Jr., from what I've been hearing, is the best pass-blocking offensive lineman available. So that's why I would go PJJ here. But If the Bears go running back Bijan Robinson, I will be ecstatic. He is a superstar, in my opinion, from day one. He comes in, he's going to change your team. I love Saquon Barkley, and in my opinion, that wasn't the wrong choice for the Giants. Saquon Barkley, everyone wrote him off a couple years ago. Last season, Barkley had damn near the best year of his career. This whole narrative that you don't take running backs top 10, you don't take running backs in the first round is bullshit. I don't know why I need to say this to not only NFL media and diehard fans, let alone the Bears head coach, but stop evaluating a position and evaluate a player. Like, sometimes players are better than... Sometimes players are just elite. Sometimes players' skill set overrides the value of the position. And if you've got... damn near, if you've got Adam Vinatieri coming out of the draft as a kicker, wouldn't you want to take him? And wouldn't one team reach for him and take him high? Because everyone knows how important... Look at Justin Tucker. How many games he's won for the Ravens single-handedly because he's the best kicker in all of football and can make 7 or 66-yard kicks to beat the Lions a couple years ago. So these guys got to stop judging a player solely based on the position he plays and judge him on his skill set and how damn talented and valuable he is. And I dealt with this with the Bears with Roquan Smith. And I heard that Matt Eberflus quote talking about, I don't think the Colts GM is in the business of taking an off-the-ball linebacker that high in the draft. Man, shut the hell up. That's a big red flag for an NFL head coach to say that. Evaluate the player, not the position. Roquan Smith goes to the Baltimore Ravens, instantly turns that defense into a top 5 unit, and then represents himself and becomes the highest paid off the ball linebacker, actually highest paid linebacker in NFL history. And all those Bears fans who were saying you don't pay an off the ball linebacker, and then we go and pay what's his name? The dude from the Bills linebacker. So we don't pay him as much as Roquan, but we still pay him, right? He was the guy we paid the most in free agency. So do you pay an off-the-ball linebacker or do you not? Make up your mind. And the reason I went off on this tangent about Roquan Smith is it applies to the running back position. Sometimes running backs are that damn good that stop saying don't pay running backs with that lazy-ass take and evaluate the player. Bijan Robinson is an absolute baller and deserves to go top 10 in the draft. I got the Bears. Let me go ahead and end this rant. I got the Bears going Paris Johnson Jr. here at pick 9 overall. I would be ecstatic, though, to be wrong and if they took Bijan Robinson. And I'm not far away because at pick 10 overall, I have the Eagles taking Bijan Robinson out of Texas. And imagine that. Imagine how difficult the Eagles would be to defend if they had Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, and Bijan Robinson. And imagine how difficult that backfield is if you've got Jalen Hurts, Bijan Robinson, even Kenneth Gainwell, and then you got Goddard, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. How are you supposed to defend that? So if I'm the Eagles, man, Bijan is too much talent to pass up. We lost Miles Sanders in free agency to the Panthers. Man, give me Bijan Robinson if I'm the Eagles. Take some of the hits away from Jalen Hurts and feed Bijan. He is an absolute stud. You look at how much talent the Chiefs have on offense and how hard they are going to be to beat. The Eagles just lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. The Niners went and added Christian McCaffrey to their already loaded offense, trying to, take the next step, get to the Super Bowl. If the Eagles want to go back to the Super Bowl and win it this time, go get an absolute stud like Bijan Robinson, the next Saquon Barkley. the running back with no weaknesses who can. You saw the impact Christian McCaffrey had on the 49ers, right? If you're an NFL fan, you should have. Bijan can have that type of impact with the Eagles. Make that pick, Philly. You know it's the right pick to do. Take Bijan Robinson. So I'm super high on him, and he deserves to go top 10 overall, and I hope it happens. I'm tired of these stupid narratives about not paying and not valuing the running back position. You cannot value the position if you want, but the best teams in football have the best running backs. So, coincidence or not, I don't think so. So, there's the top 10. Pick 11, I have the Titans going. You know, there's a lot of different ways the Titans can go here. The Titans can stay put and take either a tackle like Peter Skoronski, who I have, or they can take a wide receiver like maybe Jackson Smith-Njigba because they need help at the wide receiver position. Or the Titans could potentially trade up to 3, trade with the Cardinals, go up to 3, or trade with the Texans, go up to 2, and potentially take quarterback C.J. Stroud, who head coach Mike Vrabel has that Ohio State connection with Ryan Day and C.J. Stroud, and so maybe that's the next quarterback for the Titans is C.J. Stroud. So that's something to keep an eye on. I don't have them trading up. I don't have any trades in this mock. You know, that makes it too complicated. So I'm just gonna discuss the trades that they could potentially happen, but I'm not gonna actually make them. So Titans for this mock, stay at pick 11. Take Peter Skoronski. Keep an eye. They could either go offensive line here, you know, get their Taylor Lewan replacement, or they could go wide receiver. They need wide receiver help, and go, you know, somebody at JSN or somebody at wide receiver. Pick 12, the Houston Texans. All right, so in my mock, they took C.J. Stroud at pick number 2. So they got their quarterback. Brandon Cooks is gone, right? So they need wide receiver help. Why not keep the chemistry, already built-in chemistry, and draft Jackson Smith-Njigba at 12? Now you got your quarterback 1 and your wide receiver 1, and already built-in chemistry, and you're on the ball, off the ball running if you're the Texans. You know what I mean? So that's an idea. That's why I have them taking Jackson Smith-Njigba. Also, if he's available, they could go edge and take someone like Nolan Smith out of Georgia, who would be an excellent pick as well. So it'll be very interesting. The Texans are one of the most interesting teams in the draft with picks 2 and 12 to see what they're going to do here. Maybe they wait, take a defensive player at 2, and then draft their quarterback at 12. Maybe it's Hendon Hooker. Maybe it's Anthony Richardson, something like that. Will Levis, who knows? So a lot of different ways this draft can go. This is one of the more up-in-the-air drafts in recent memory. But I have the Texans going C.J. Stroud and Jackson Smith-Njigba at 2 and 12. That would really get them the ball rolling on their rebuild, you know. Packers at pick 13. The Jordan Love era begins. Hall of Fame quarterback Aaron Rodgers has been traded to the New York Jets. So it's a new day. Yes, it is. It's a new era in Green Bay. The Jordan Love era begins. And what better way to start that era than by giving their young quarterback a pass weapon? And they could go, if Jackson Smith-Njigba is available here, they could easily go with that. I have him going to the Texans. They could easily go wide receiver if you're Green Bay. I have them going Notre Dame tight end Michael Mayer. Or they could go Dalton Kincaid. Either way, those are the 2 best tight ends available. They seem to like Notre Dame players, so I have them going Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame. They lost Robert Tonyan to the Bears in free agency, so get a reliable pass-catching tight end. Michael Mayer, very good, very talented. Give Jordan Love a guy like Michael Mayer, and give Jordan Love the best chance to succeed, right? You know, he's got the 2 rookies they drafted last year, Romeo Dobbs and Christian Watson. So bring in Michael Mayer. Now you're starting to see a pretty solid skill group there. Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon. So Jordan Love's really not in a bad position if you address that, whether it be receiver or a tight end. I would go tight end. I'd go either Michael Mayer or Dalton Kincaid. Either way, they're both excellent. So I've got them going Michael Mayer at pick 13. Pick 14 for the New England Patriots. It would surprise me a lot if he falls this far, but I have the Patriots taking corner Christian Gonzalez out of Oregon. Now, he might be the first corner taken in the draft. He's got the talent to be corner number one. Right there with Devin Witherspoon, and right there with Joey Porter Jr. is right there with those guys as well, in my opinion. So Christian Gonzalez would be a Bill Belichick type pick if he's available at pick 14. I could also see them going Joey Porter Jr. Either way. Would be a great add to the secondary opposite Jonathan Jones. So Patriots could go a lot of different ways. I think they're likely going to go defense. They could go wide receiver. I think they go defense and secondary. Christian Gonzalez would be a hell of a pickup for the New England Patriots. Pick 15 for the Jets. This pick seems to be everyone's picking this one. This seems to be the no-brainer. Pick 15, Broderick Jones, a tackle out of Georgia for the Jets. Need to protect the old man, star quarterback Aaron Rodgers. Go get Broderick Jones, put him opposite Mekhi Becton, and now you got two absolute monsters on the offensive line, protecting Aaron Rodgers. That would be a smart pick for the Jets. So yeah, that's something to keep an eye on there. That seems to be the no-brainer. Everyone I've seen is mocking Broderick Jones to the Jets. Maybe Darnell Wright, maybe Peter Skoronski if he's available. But Broderick Jones seems to be the pick. Washington Commanders at pick 16. They need to address the secondary. I've got them going corner Joey Porter Jr. out of Penn State. I love this guy. He is my favorite corner in the draft. I like Devin Witherspoon a lot as well. I love Joey Porter Jr. Loved him at Penn State. My favorite corner in the draft. Plays corner the way his dad played linebacker. If you remember Joey Porter, who played for the Steelers and the Dolphins at linebacker, hard-hitting, nasty, hard-nosed linebacker that would lay the wood and knock you out. And Joey Porter brings that same physicality and mindset to the corner position. I love a physical corner, and he can be very valuable for whatever team he gets drafted to. Pick 16 Commanders, Joey Porter Jr. Steelers at pick 17 is interesting. I doubt this player falls to pick 17, but if Nolan Smith is available, that's who I would take if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers. Edge, you can never have enough pass rushing talent, so Nolan Smith to the Steelers would be very nasty. I love Nolan Smith a lot, as does John Abraham, and I trust his talent evaluation of a pass rusher, right? I trust John Abraham on pass rushing talent evaluation. So he likes Nolan Smith, so do I. Steelers take him at pick 17. We'll see. They can go a lot of different routes there, but I like Nolan Smith to the Steelers. Lions at pick 18. They've already taken Devin Witherspoon on my mock. So at pick 18, I go edge. Lucas Van Ness out of Iowa. Add him to an already being built D-line of Aiden Hutchinson and Josh Paschal. Now bring in Van Ness, a Dan Campbell type of pick. And we already know the Lions are building something nasty on both trenches. So I think they continue that at pick 18 in the first round. Lions building an absolute monster there in Detroit. I hate to say it, but Dan Campbell's doing a good job there. It was fun to make fun of him early on with the biting of the kneecap stuff. But, the Lions are a quarterback away from being an absolute threat in the NFC. And if I'm the Lions, I'd go trade for Lamar Jackson. I'm just being honest. You give me Lamar Jackson in Detroit, get Jamison Williams back from suspension, you know, Amon-Ra St. Brown, you know, and David Montgomery. I love that acquisition for the Lions. I hate the Lions as a Bears fan, but I love the addition of David Montgomery for the Lions. He's going to have a career year behind that O-line. The Lions are building something, bro. So if you're a Lions fan, look out. You great. A lot of reasons to be optimistic if you're a Detroit Lions fan. Pick 19, the Tampa Bay Bucks. A lot of people have this pick going as well. This is a consensus pick by most people. Tackle Darnell Wright out of Tennessee. Consensus pick. Opposite of Tristan Wirfs, and need to protect a new era in Tampa Bay as Tom Brady retires. So now the quarterback battle is going to be between Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask. Need to give both those quarterbacks a chance, right? So give them good offensive line protection. Tom Brady had bad O-line protection last year, and so adding Darnell Wright will help solidify that and give Baker Mayfield, Kyle Trask opportunities to have success. Pick 20, the Seattle Seahawks. I already have them taking Jalen Carter 5th overall. Now I got them taking another defensive lineman edge, Myles Murphy, out of Clemson. Him falling to 20 seems kind of crazy. He's got a lot of talent, a lot of upside. You add him to Jalen Carter, Draymond Jones, Darrell Taylor, Uchenna Nwosu. The Seahawks got something. They're building a nasty defense there in Seattle. And if you add Jalen Carter and Myles Murphy, look out. So trust the Seahawks, what they're doing on both sides of the ball. I'm shocked that Pete Carroll has turned this thing around so quickly after getting rid of Russell Wilson. He convinced Quandre Diggs to stay, told them they weren't rebuilding, they were just retooling, and they were going to be competitive. And it blew my mind that Geno Smith led them to the playoffs last year. Kenneth Walker was a home run draft pick, and as well as that corner, I forget his name off the top of my head, but 5th round corner that shocked the world last year. The Seahawks are really building something. So I love what Pete Carroll's doing. And if they go both D-line there, look out. Tariq Woolen, right? So, all right, let's go. Pick 21, Chargers wide receiver Zay Flowers. Look, you want to get the most out of Justin Herbert. You blew a massive 24-point lead, I believe it was, maybe even 28 or 27-point lead in the playoffs in the wild card round of the Jags. So you want to give Justin Herbert more weapons. Imagine adding Zay Flowers out of Boston College to Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Josh Palmer. An embarrassment of riches at the wide receiver position if you're the Chargers. Keep doing it. And, they're building something. Look out for the Chargers. I'm not high on Brandon Staley. I think he's hurting the team in some of his decisions, some of his situational decision making. But I believe in Herbert's arm talent and continue to build around him, right? Give him his best chance in the world to succeed. And, maybe bring back Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler has been a very, very valuable part of that offense. I would be looking to bring him back. As I know, he's a free agent still. Worth the money, man. Yeah, I think they brought him back, right? I'm looking that up right now. He felt it was a punch in the face when the Chargers refused to negotiate a contract extension. So, I'm looking. Did they bring him back? It looks like they might have brought him back. Could be prohibited. Austin Eckler's. Hopeful to find a long-term contract. So there's a chance Austin Eckler can return to the Chargers. And yeah, he agrees. He says he's underpaid, and I agree. I mean, he's been an absolute touchdown machine. Such a valuable aspect of that Chargers offense. So give Justin Herbert, bring back Austin Eckler, and give them a wide receiver like Zay Flowers or Jordan Addison, someone like that, to continue to build. I think Zay Flowers fits that offense the best, though. All right, Ravens at pick 22. There's a lot of buzz right now around Lamar Jackson. Josina Anderson tweeting some stuff. Lamar Jackson tweeting. So we'll see. There's some noise around Lamar Jackson today. So we'll see what happens there. But the Ravens need to keep him. And you know, pay the man. He's worth it. And it sounds like a lot of people are starting to see that Lamar is signing a long-term deal and staying in Baltimore. So we hope so. And if that's the case, you failed, Ravens. You failed to give Lamar enough wide receiver help. And so draft Quentin Johnston, my wide receiver 1 in this draft. An absolute monster. He's been given comparisons to like Andre Johnson out of Miami, you know, Houston Texans, Hall of Fame wide receiver. Quentin Johnston was an absolute baller at TCU, and one of those guys you can just throw it up to, and it doesn't matter if he's double or triple covered, he's likely to come down with it. Big body receiver. Team him up with Odell Beckham Jr., Rashad Bateman, Nelson Aguilar. Now you've got a legit wide receiver core. You know, Aguilar himself wasn't doing it. Bateman by himself wasn't doing it. OBJ helps, but there's injury concerns there. He's you know, go get a guy like Quentin Johnston or Jordan Addison, someone like that, even Zay Flowers. I would go Quentin Johnston here at pick 22. And if that's the plan to keep Lamar, now you got a legit receiving core around him, right? So maybe even go trade for DeAndre Hopkins. Whatever you got to do, Baltimore, to make Lamar Jackson feel happy, wanted, and taken care of financially, because that's your best bet. You know, you either have a franchise quarterback in this league or you don't, and you don't want to be the one of those teams that doesn't have one. Minnesota Vikings, they desperately need corner help. I got them taking corner Deonte Banks out of Maryland. Makes sense to me. Need to build up that secondary. And, you know, get better defensively, as they were pretty bad defensively last year. And if they can do that, you know, they're going to be the favorite to win the division and have a home playoff game. And so they need to continue to be competitive in a weak division, a wide-open division, with Aaron Rodgers now gone, the Bears still building, and the Lions still building, right? So Vikings, take care of your needs and continue to be the best team in that division going into the 2023 season. For the Jags, I got them taking defensive tackle Brian Breezy. I've heard so many different pronunciations of that last name. I'm going to call him Young Breezy, all right? So that's my nickname for him, Brian Breezy out of Clemson, defensive tackle. Address a need. And the Jags, man, they're building something special. Now you're getting Calvin Ridley back from suspension. Look out for the Jacksonville Jaguars this season. And also, if I'm the Jags, look to draft a running back. I like Travis Etienne a lot, but get someone else in there to help him out. Now, the best teams in football have a 2 running back offense, have 2 good running backs. You look at, you know, the Packers with Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon. You look at just around the league, the Packers or the Vikings with Dalvin Cook, Alexander Mattison. The Lions with David Montgomery and DeAndre Swift. The Saints now with Alvin Kamara and Jamal Williams. Just all around the league, the best teams have 2 running backs. And you need that. You want that, ideally. The Browns had a lot of success with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. So that should be the goal, is to have 2 running backs. So the Jags take young Breezy at pick 24, maybe get a running back in the 2nd or 3rd round, something like that. Giants, I got them taking safety Brian Banch out of Bama to team up with Bama Xavier McKinney. So they like the Bama safeties. I like it. Brian Branch, a hell of a safety, a lot of talent. He might not even be available at pick 25, but if he is, jump on that. Take that if you're the Giants. I love what the Giants are building as well. They got something special going on over there. Brian Dable is getting the most out of Daniel Jones. Saquon Barkley is having a career resurgence. And the Giants should draft a wide receiver as well to help out that, Daniel Jones, and continue to build. I love what the Giants are doing. Cowboys, you lose Dalton Schultz to the Texans, so why not go get another Dalton? Get Dalton Kincaid out of Utah. Hell of a tight end. I like Jake Ferguson, but he's tight end number 2. Go get Dalton Kincaid, who might be the best tight end in this draft if he's available at 26. If he's not, get Michael Mayer, right? Get a tight end, a reliable pass-catching tight end for Dak Prescott, and continue to build that thing. The Cowboys, you got to surround Dak with talent, right? You got CeeDee Lamb. Get a tight end, a reliable pass-catching tight end. Because Dalton Schultz is a big loss, so why not replace him with one of the best tight ends in the draft? Bills at pick 27. This is a routine. This is the 3rd year in a row I have given the Bills a running back in the 1st round. Devin Singletary now gone. I forget where he went, but he's gone. He's no longer on the team. Let me look this up real quick. Devin Singletary is gone and went to the Houston Texans. Yeah, Texans are scooping up everybody, all the free agents. So now that Devin Singletary is gone, James Cook is there, but he's not a running back 1, in my opinion. He's an excellent change of pace running back 2. Go get Jahmyr Gibbs. Imagine Jahmyr Gibbs in the backfield with James Cook and Josh Allen. Look out. And then you got Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis, all these weapons, Dawson Knox. So go get someone like Jahmyr Gibbs. Maybe that's a slight reach in the 1st round at pick 27. I don't care. I value the running back position. A lot of you may not. I do. And I think that's one of the biggest things that's been holding the Bills back from getting back to the Super Bowl, is that they don't have a running back. And Devin Singletary was good, not great. James Cook, good, not great. Jahmyr Gibbs provides a lot of upside, a lot of speed, home run threat ability. The Bills already have a ton of home run threat ability. And imagine that quarterback option zone read with Josh Allen and Jahmyr Gibbs. That's scary as hell. So that's my pick. Jahmyr Gibbs, pick 27 out of Bama to the Buffalo Bills. Pick 28. Man, if Joe Burrow gets a tight end, so I had Michael Mayer going, but I don't think he is still available at pick 28. I don't think Dalton Kincaid is either. The top tight ends are very valuable, so I think they're going to go high in this draft. And there's a 3rd tight end that I would take if I'm the Bengals. They need a tight end upgrade. Go get Darnell Washington out of Georgia. This dude is a monster. 6'7", 260. Excellent hands. He reminds me, if you're an NFL fan, remember Broncos tight end Julius Thomas. And remember there for a second where defenders were afraid to tackle him. They were just pulling up because Julius Thomas had a full head of steam going into the end zone. They were making business decisions. They didn't want to tackle or try to hit Julius Thomas because he's so big and he'll truck you on the way into the end zone. That's what Darnell Washington can do. He's an absolute monster, and so if the Bengals get him to go with those receivers and then Joe Mixon, Samaje Perine, embarrassment of riches on the offensive side of the ball. If I'm the Bengals, go get Darnell Washington if Mayer and Kincaid are off the board already. He's the 3rd tight end, but he's a hell of an option. Pick 29 for the Saints. Now, I kind of have gone back and forth with this pick. They could go either Kalijah Kancey, defensive tackle out of Pitt, or they could go. I was looking at I forget who I was going there. Maybe like a receiver, like a Jordan Addison. They could go with him for Derek Carr, right? You sign Derek Carr. You want to surround him with a lot of weapons. You got Michael Thomas coming back. You know, they've got some guys that, Rashid Shaheed, guys like that, Traquan Smith, but you could upgrade. Jordan Addison, I think, would be wide receiver too, just like that. And we don't know exactly how good Michael Thomas is anymore. So the Saints could easily go wide receiver here. I would definitely consider it if Jordan Addison or, even Jalen Hyatt, someone like that. So keep an eye on that. Eagles pick 30. I could see them going corner Emmanuel Forbes out of Mississippi State. He needs to put on some weight and develop, into the NFL game and the NFL body, but he's an absolute home run threat. He had a bunch of pick sixes in college, and imagine adding him to Darius Slade, James Bradbury, Avonte Maddox. You can kind of sit him behind the veterans, let him develop, and he's an absolute ball hawk. So Eagles always looking to get better on the defensive side of the ball. Pick 31, the Kansas City Chiefs. If available, I can see them going wide receiver. I got them going Jordan Addison here if he's available. The Chiefs, don't let the Chiefs get any of these top receivers. I mean, Jalen Hyatt, they should, I think, because right now you're talking Valdez-Scantling is one of their best receivers. Sky Moore, they can upgrade the receiver. Kadarius Toney, you can get better than that. Travis Kelce is your number one option. You go get someone like Jalen Hyatt or Jordan Addison, you're getting better and better. So Patrick Mahomes can make chicken salad out of anything, really, it seems. And why not get him, some legit talent? So we'll see what they do at pick 31. I think they go wide receiver. Pick 32, Steelers, I think they go corner. To add to veteran Patrick Peterson and Levi Wallace, you could go either Cam Smith out of South Carolina or Kelee Ringo out of Georgia. I like Ringo a lot. I like Cam Smith too. Or maybe Emmanuel Forbes. So either way, I would like to see Ringo go to the Steelers. That's my preference. So that's my mock draft first round. Let me know what you guys think. I can't wait for this draft. You can tell I'm excited about it. A lot of different ways this draft can go. Our mocks are probably going to be, completely different than what actually happens. A lot of chaos in the top 10 even, Do we see trades? Do we see a running back go top 10? A lot of different options. So appreciate the support, guys. Thank you for checking out this episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And have a great week, guys. Peace out.